Hello everyone, welcome to the channel ReWatch. Today I will tell you about the movie Good Boy, 2022. A young man named Christian lives a measured life in his huge house. In the evening, as usual, he prepares dinner for one person and also puts food in a dog bowl. Before sitting down at the table, the young man calls his dog, but instead of a dog, a person in a suit comes out to him. Christian calmly gives his pet a command, and the pet begins to eat. After dinner, he brushes the pet's teeth and sends him to the shower, and then they lie in bed like an owner and his pet. While browsing a dating site, Christian replies to messages from Sigrid. After chatting with her all the next day, the young man arranges a real-life date with the girl. After waiting almost an hour, he is about to leave, but at that moment, Sigrid arrives. She explains that she is always late and can't seem to break this bad habit. Not getting into university, she decided to attend a private school where she is currently studying psychology. She doesn't particularly enjoy the learning process, but the parties with her classmates make up for the monotony. Christian, in turn, shares details about his life. He doesn't study or work, preferring to go with the flow. Chatting until the evening, the guy suggests that his new acquaintance go to his place. Seeing the house, Sigrid is delighted and surprised that the young man lives there alone. He explains that he suffers from claustrophobia, so he needs to live in a large space. The guy also mentions his dog, which amuses the girl. Christian explains that he inherited the house from his parents, who are no longer alive. Sigrid feels sympathy for him and responds to the kiss that the young man dares to give her without hesitation. The couple spends the rest of the evening and night together. In the morning, the girl wakes up to the sound of labored breathing by the bed. Opening her eyes, she sees a person in a dog suit and is horrified. Christian calmly informs her that this is his pet and it's time to feed him. At breakfast, Sigrid can't take her eyes off the person acting like a dog. She asks the guy what's going on, but he pretends there's nothing strange about it. Deciding that this is too much, the girl prepares to leave. The young man tries to stop her and is even ready to explain everything, but Sigrid asks him to take her home. Her neighbor Aurora immediately bombards her with questions, and when she finds out who her friend had a date with, she is stunned. It turns out that Christian is the son of a deceased multi-billionaire. Realizing that the young man embodies the dream of any girl, Sigrid gives in to persuasion, and they watch a video about the puppy play together. It turns out that this is quite a widespread game where one person takes on the role of the owner and the other acts like a dog. In the evening, Christian calls the girl and tries to apologize for what happened. He invites her to have dinner at his house, and Sigrid agrees. During dinner, the girl brings up the topic of the dog. Christian explains that his name is Frank, and they have known each other since childhood. Being a wealthy teenager, Christian was always surrounded by people who pursued one benefit or another. At some point, Frank decided to become a dog, and now Christian has to pretend that this is the case. When Sigrid asks to meet him, he warns her that she must not show that she sees a person in front of her. The dog first sniffed the girl, and Christian had to raise his voice to interrupt the process that clearly scared the girl. However, the couple spent the night together again. In the morning, Christian informed her that the dog was very ashamed of his behavior. Hearing that the girl wasn't angry, the pet wagged his tail joyfully. Looking at the clock, Sigrid realizes she's terribly late, so Christian offers to give her a ride to school. Before parting, they make plans for the evening. Hearing that her friend is dating a millionaire, Aurora advises her not to be too compliant so that he doesn't think she can be easily won over. However, once in the young man's arms, Sigrid loses control and stays the night again. After their intimate moment, the couple discusses their lives. The girl suggests finding a girlfriend for Frank, and Christian agrees. He also shares his worries, saying he doesn't understand why his friend decided to behave like a dog. Meanwhile, the subject of their discussion listens in on their conversation from behind the door. The next day, Christian suggests that Sigrid spend the weekend out of town with him and Frank. Thinking it's a great idea, the girl agrees. During dinner, the young man notes that his guest spends a lot of time on her mobile phone. He suggests they put all gadgets in a box to fully enjoy the weekend together, and the girl agrees. After dinner, the couple has fun in the living room, and when Christian steps out to get some wine, Frank lifts his mask and asks the girl to help him, insisting that his owner is insane. Shocked, Sigrid tries to control her panic and says she'll go to bed. In the early morning, she carefully gets out of bed and tries to go outside, but the door is locked. Christian, now awake, catches her as she rummages through his jacket pockets. She insists she just wanted to enjoy the early morning air, and the young man suggests they do it together. At breakfast, Sigrid tries to convince him that she urgently needs to call her mother. He gives her the phone and asks her to speak on speakerphone. Hearing nothing important in the conversation, the young man claims she is addicted to her phone and suggests she forget about it until Monday. Struggling to stay calm, Sigrid suggests walking Frank, and Christian agrees. During the walk, the dog cautiously informs her that they can't escape. The only way to survive is to kill the owner. Deciding that this is too much, the girl heads home. Troubled thoughts plague her, and she hides a kitchen knife under her pillow just in case. After showering, she encounters the guy. He starts kissing her, but fear causes Sigrid to push him away. Composing herself, she goes down for lunch. After downing several glasses of wine, she literally passes out. Waking up at night, Sigrid sees that the knife under her pillow is gone. At that moment, Christian sits up in bed and tells her he has something to show her. Seating her in the living room, the young man reveals the knife and then plays a recording where Frank talks about needing to kill the owner. Terrified, the girl follows him and watches in horror as he opens the cage with the dog. Frank, now without the mask, shows his terrified face. Seizing the moment while Christian tries to subdue the poor guy, Sigrid grabs the keys and runs outside. She dashes forward, not minding the path. Finally noticing that the girl has escaped, the young man takes the captive to the barn, where he begins to torture him brutally. Realizing she can't abandon Frank, Sigrid returns. She knocks Christian out with a blow to the head and tries to drag the captive outside. But the young man, of course, proves to be stronger. He strikes back, knocking out both victims with a baseball bat. A few days later, Christian leisurely prepares breakfast, and before sitting at the table, he fills 2 dog bowls and carries them to the barn. There, he is greeted by 2 dogs who are forced to wag their tails cheerfully, for only in this way do they have a chance to survive and perhaps someday escape from this mad billionaire.